Yes.
Why is it that even though I know something, I am not able to act on it consistently? For example, I know I need to exercise in order to maintain my physical health, but I still don't do this. And what is it I can do to be more consistent?
The question of implementation, or there is a gap between my knowledge and my practice or living it, implementing it. The gap is because of two reasons. One, there is no clarity with reference to the goal. Number one. Number two, what you call as I know is standing only as information. Information will not help you to implement. Only when that information gets processed through reflection, implementation is possible. So unless you have these two, because most of the time when you come to spiritual, say for example, you are learning, as the same example that you gave. I know that I should exercise, but there's no clarity in terms of for what you need to exercise. Okay, I have to be fit. For what? For what you want to be fit? You can say, sir, my profession demands me to be fit. Like this, actors, actresses, personalities, and all that. The field demands it. If you are not fit, you are not in the market. So therefore, they are right. So this is his goal. I'm not saying it is right or wrong. Right. What we need to understand is this. So that is what is driving him. So for whatever reason, if the market were to change and I lose market, then what happens? The purpose is not going to be fulfilled. Therefore, where is the motivation for you to continue exercising? I want to look slim. In whose eyes? Right. In whose eyes? I say, I want people to appreciate me being slim and trim. Correct. But then the problem is what? For 2 months, nobody vouches that to you. What happens? When you are weighing 120 pounds, from 120 you come to 90. Everyone will appreciate. From 90 to 80 you come. What happens? I want to look slim. But then in whose eyes? This is where goal is important. So for you to practice whatever you wanted to do, whatever you know as right, or whatever you understand as wrong, essentially you require this idea of for what. Unless that is lofty, possibility of a long-term inspiration from that, you will not be consistent. You will fluctuate. Number one. Second point is when we say practice, in Vedanta, practice means reflection, not doing. See, we think, in all other fields, Practice means acting. In religion, in philosophy, in spiritual, Vedanta, you use any word. Practice here means only one thing, reflection. If you are not going to be reflecting on the information that you have received, or unless you learn to reflect on the experience that life has given you, the tragedy is you reflect only with reference to a sorrowful experience. Only when failure comes, you do reflection, investigation. When success comes, no investigation. Straight away, you will go for celebration. Not that you should not celebrate success, but hardly you will find a person having a time spent to investigate what is the cause, what has driven. So if at all you think only with reference to that particular painful, sorrowful experience. So if you are restricting it to the sorrowful experience, straight away your mind will switch over to what? Not to understand anything. It will immediately start jumping into what is the solution. See, that's not thinking. That is not reflection. So your entire processing, whether it is information or experience, is incomplete. There is no reflection. There is no probing. There is no inquiry into the principle per se. Like, for example, attachment. Straight away you start thinking in terms of where all I am attached. And wherever you have relationship problem, immediately you will connect it and say, that's why. You immediately jump into personalizing the whole thing without bringing in your personal. So, to answer the question, sir, I am not able to maintain the consistency, my effort. The constancy of thought is not happening. Why? Because there is no higher vision. There is no goal in that. If at all you are practicing something, you are practicing it because of external circumstances are conducive for it. That's where you find all these people. Right now, I am in the market. In the 70s, 60s, heroes, movie heroes, they didn't bother about their looks. They were concerned only with reference to their capacity to sing. If they are good singers, they are big heroes. If they are not able to sing, nothing. Then later on, what became? How much of expressions were able to give? In one scene, you have to give so many expressions. Right? I think right or wrong about it, but the trend changed. After that, there is no necessity for the hero to be having the capacity to sing. His expression skills, his body language, how expressive they are. Now, what is it? How good your physique is. How great a dancer you are. The hero is expected to be a dancer. In 60s, 70s, heroine is supposed to be a dancer. Hero is the one who will be dancing, not hero. Now, hero should be a dancer. Now, after some time, it will change. I don't know for what it will change. So now a person is focusing on exercising, fitness, and all that. Means not because of him, it is because of the circumstances. You see, the trend changes, the taste changes. We cannot have the same one. Savitri were to come today in the market. She will be inducted only as a comedian. Why? Changes. So if at all we are practicing something today, what is driving that is the conduciveness of the external conveniences. That is driving. Then we ask this question of reflection. Say, what is this reflection, sir? I want to be good. I want to get better. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Because what you thought according to you as good when you are 15 is totally different from what you thought as good when you come to 30. Now, which is good? I want to get better. I want to get better. I want to get better. Where it is going to land you finally? Better, 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 better. There. And always better is going to be with reference to the lower. Now, if you are going to keep the lower as a reference point to define, or you should keep the higher as a reference point to define. These questions defines the answers that you go to dig it out. Don't ask me. You can't say, okay, now you said you tell us no. That will not help you. What will help is only when you question it, only when you probe it, only when you define it in your own terms as clear as possible, as explicit as possible, removing all vagueness to your understanding and your goal. That happens only through reflection. So you go to first, which have a higher goal, the purpose you go to fix, and then reflection alone will make it refined. Constant thinking, constant application. When you are doing this, you have to do one more thing parallel. These two are to be done. Parallelly, what you have to do is to put in this conscious effort on some higher purpose, some unselfish action, some selflessness has to be there, which is what we generally refer as karma. So one is reflection part, fixation of goal and reflection part, which will provide constancy of thought. Till that gets settled in you, or to facilitate that settlement of the goal and reflection, you need to create a conduciveness internally to you. Creating the conduciveness is the practice of karma yoga. So that is what is referred as karma here. You must consciously pull yourself away from your entanglements. Consciously you have to pull. The problem is, this we cannot do. Because your mind will instantly resist it. Because it's a stream. If you have to extricate yourself, because imagine that you have to invest every day, let's say, about 1 hour on something which is not going to be in alignment with your attachments or your selfish interests, right? There is no motivation. So mind will resist it and say, why? And straight away it will reject it. It will resist and reject straight away for what you are asking me to do all this. That's why they said you have to do certain ritualistic portions. Why they recommend the rituals? Every religion has rituals. Why? There is not a single religion in the world minus ritual. Impossible. Why? How is it that all of it? See, what ritual they might be different. But rituals were there for what? Confusing. What will make the reflection settle down in you is the karma. Karma means what? Any action that you engage in for a higher purpose means what? You have nothing to gain. That's the meaning of higher purpose. Straight away, what your mind will do? Resist. For what? One day you can do. Possible. That's why we are able to do it for some time you are able to practice it. After that, this is why? Because there is nothing for the mind in it. This is where the conscious effort has to be. So if you want to practice whatever you learn, whatever you hear, whatever you read, you want to live higher standard of life, then you need these three. One is goal and reflection. Second one is practice of karma. One is cause, another one is conducive. By going on having only cause without conduciveness, no result. Conduciveness, but there is no cause, also will not yield result. It's like you need a good soil and a good seed for getting a good tree. Isn't it? You have a good seed but no soil, or you have a good soil but no seed. But however, for a tree, who is the cause? Seed alone is the cause. Remember that. That is why we go on insisting on reflection. Reflect. Think. Question. Reason. Reason what? Reason your understanding of that. Because in Vedanta, you are never going to have concepts which are unknown to you. Unlike in science. In science, you question only for what? Find out what is it. What is the new word they're using? Vectors. What is vector? Sin theta, cos theta. Is it? That's all. You see, it's just terminologies, new words. In Vedanta, there is not many new words. I want to get better. In the new word, huh? Dictionary wise, there's no need. You don't need a great, paribhasha here. This is just a, but what is your understanding of good and how you are able to define a greater good. There are two goods. One is ordinary good, another one is greater good. How I am going to, this is called reflection.